guys to Matek once again, and today we'll be solving a simple question under the permutation and combination. It's not that simple, but we'll learn it and we'll learn it in a simpler way. So let's go here. Now we are saying if n plus 1 combination 2 is equal to 6, we are asked to find the value of n. Now, I'll give us two methods of solving this question. One is a really quick method of solving this in case you are having an objective test, but it is not really assured. But let me go straight with the formula of combination while solving this. Now we all know that n combination r is equal to n factorial all over n minus r factorial r factorial. So now this is the formula for n combination r, n factorial all over bracket n minus r factorial r factorial. And most people might not understand what factorial means, and I will not deeply explain that in that video. Just keep watching our math series till we get to this point and you learn that all. But simply, when we are talking about n factorial is simply n times n minus 1 times n minus 2. So we can put it factorial, it still runs down. So this just the meaning of n factorial. Now n minus 2 factorial is minus 2 minus 1. So subtracting 1 after your multiplication, that's just the concept of factorial. But as we dive deep, you will understand it. So now using this formula, let's solve this question. So we are given n plus 1 combination 2 is equal to 6. So come here and say n plus 1 combination 2, and this is also same as substituting in place of n, we have to put n plus 1. So we have n plus 1 factorial all over n minus r. Don't forget our n is what? N plus 1. So this is bracket n plus 1 minus r is what? 2. 2 factorial. Then r factorial, which is what? This will be 2 factorial. Now let's dive into the concept of factorial. Don't forget I just explained what n factorial means, and this is n factorial. N times bracket n minus 1 times n minus 2 is equal n minus 3 down to n minus. So back to the calculation. So now let's get the n plus 1 factorial. So what is n plus 1 factorial? N plus 1 factorial will be equal to what? N plus 1 minus 1. I'm trying to bring this down for us. And this will give us what? Okay, n plus 1 minus 1 times n plus 1 minus 2. Let me stop here, factorial. But it still goes to n plus 1 minus 3, n plus 1 minus 4. What I just have to put. This factorial means it continues the multiplication, subtracting 1 more, 1 more, 1 more. So, in our n factorial, what we'll be having here will be what? We'll be having, in our numerator, now we'll be having n plus 1 is what we are giving, n plus 1. So, the factorial of this will be n plus 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is what? 0. So, we'll be having only n left times n times n plus 1 minus 2. So this will give us n minus 1 factorial all over 1 minus 2 here will give us what? Minus 1. N minus 1 factorial to factorial. Hope you guys understand to this point. So rearranging, we'll be having, let's arrange this orderly, we'll be having here to be what? N into n plus 1 into n minus 1 factorial, and this will be all over n minus 1 factorial times 2. Because 2 factorial is what? 2 factorial is just 2 minus 1, which is equal to what? Sorry? 2 factorial is what? 2 times bracket 2 minus 1. And this is 2 times 1. That is 2 factorial. So the result is still what? 2. So let's advance, and now we are saying that, don't forget this is product, multiplication. So we are having a common factor here in the numerator and also a common factor here in the denominator. What's that? n minus 1 factorial, n minus 1 factorial. So we can do away with both. So we can come here, see the cancel here, and we cancel here. And sorry, I forgot to do something. We have to equate this to what? 6. We have to equate this to 6. Don't forget the question says n plus 1 combination 2 is equal to what? 6. So we have to equate this to 6. Sorry. So making the mistake. And let's go back to our calculation. So now what we have left here is what? N into n plus 1 all over 2 equal to what? 6. So at this point, we cross multiply, and cross multiplying will be having n. Don't forget, all integers are rational numbers. Seeing 6 as a whole number here, it's still a rational number in the sense that this is 6 over 1. So this numerator here will be multiplying this denominator, and this numerator here will be multiplying this denominator here will be multiplying this numerator. So here we'll be having this times 1 6 is the same, n into n plus 1. 2 times 6 gives us what? 12. So now we'll continue. We use n to multiply through the bracket. So n times n here gives us n squared, and n times 1 gives us what? N. And this is equal to 12. So we are saying that if everything we solve here, this is still leading us towards a quadratic expression. So we will have to solve a quadratic equation here. So we have to do n squared plus n. This comes over and it turns negative 12 equal to 0. Now solving this quadratic equation, I will not have to go through the stress of the factorization. I will just use a simple method called the scissors method. I will use the scissors method to solve this, and just 2 strokes here. Now, I will explain briefly. The first step we have to take is we find the product of the first value. And what are the product of the first value? N times n. And n here and 1 n here. And the next step we have to take is that we find the product of the last value. That when we sum them up, we'll have a middle value. And what would that be? That would be positive 4 and negative 3. Positive 4 and negative 3. Now, positive 4 times negative 3 gives us negative 12. Now, this is one sweet thing about the scissors method. N times minus 3 gives us minus 3n, and 4 times n here gives us what? 4n. So if you have to solve minus 3n plus 4n, we arrive at answer to be what? N. So this is the middle value here, n. So the scissors method is very simple. So we have gotten our factors, so we just have to pick. Since this is positive, here we'll have bracket n plus 4, and here we'll have n minus 3, since this is negative, and this will be equated to 0. So therefore, our n plus 4 is equal to 0, or n minus 3 is equal to 0. So when this crosses over, we're having our n here to be minus 4, or our n here to be what? Positive 3. Now we've gotten 2 values for n. Now to know the real value of n, you must know that the factorial cannot be negative. N here cannot be negative. It cannot be negative. So the correct value for this n here is what? 3. So therefore, n is equal to 3. correct solution. So this is the correct solution. N is equal to 3. Now, one last thing before we go to the next step. I would like to substitute N here and see if we solve this combination will result to the value 6. So now we'll be substituting the value of N, which is 3, the correct solution here. And here we'll be having 3 plus 1 combination 2. So 3 plus 1 combination 2 is same as 4 combination 2. So 4 combination 2, don't forget our N combination R is equal to what? N factorial all over N minus R bracket factorial R factorial. So let's substitute. In place of N, you put what? 4, and in place of R, you put what? 2. So 4 combination 2 will be equal to 4 factorial all over 4 minus 2 factorial 2 factorial. And here we'll be having 4 factorial is what? 4 times 3 times 2 factorial all over 4 minus 2 will give us what? 2. So here we'll be having 2 factorial and 2 factorial. We see that there are common things in the numerator and the denominator. So this can go with this. 2 factorial go with 2 factorial. So here what we have left here is what? 4 times 3 is what? 12. And our 2 factorial is what? 2. So then earlier that's 2 times 1, 2. So 12 divided by 2 gives us what? 6. And we see that we just arrived at the answer. We just arrived at the answer. N plus 1 combination 2 equal to 6. So knowing that this is the correct solution, we have to substitute the value for N, and solving the combination again, we are still arriving at the given answer 6. But this is quite long. Now let's say in an objective test for those taking JAM, or probably in a WAEC exam or a computer-based exam, scholarship examination. Now you're given this type of question. I would advise you to sit down and spend 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes solving this. Now this is what you do. Just take this little approach of test of value. Test of value. Now, we know that, this is it. We know that if we impute here to be 2, let's say we assume our N to be equal to 1. Now, it will be what? 1 plus 1, that is 2 combination 2. And solving, at this point where we are having N minus R, 2 combination 2, that's 2 minus 2, we're giving you 0. And once you have 0 there, it makes your expression to be undefined. So we can see that 1 does not go. So now try 2. Now try 2. 2 plus 1 gives us 3, and this is 3. A very quick approach. And substituting, at this point where you'll be having, 3 minus 2 to give you 1 factorial. And here you'll be having what? 2 factorial. When the 2 factorial goes to the 2 factorial in the numerator, we'll be having just 12 as our results. So with your brain, you can just solve that out, and you try the next one. Let's your value of M be equal to what? 3. 3 plus 1 will give us what? 4. 4 combination 2. Which we did here, and you see. So in an objective test where you have been given options, just using this quick test of numbers, you will get the result very fast and very easy. So thank you guys for watching. Please, if you have any question, if you encounter any challenge in the course of the video, don't fail to drop your comments, to drop your questions in the comment section, and don't fail to like, share, and subscribe. And one thing, our MathTech private tutoring services is still ongoing. Please don't fail to participate in the mathematics, the programming, academic coaching, or academic therapy, and everything science. Thank you so much.